Rommel was only miles from victory when his entire army ran out of fuel. But then, one bold decision changed the fate of the entire North African campaign. And when the British finally attacked, there was almost nowhere left to run. Hot winds howl across the vast, unforgiving expanse of the North African desert. In the middle of endless sand dunes, rows of formidable German panzer tanks stand motionless. There is no roar of engines, nor any sound of soldiers preparing for battle. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, the feared desert fox, peers intensely through his binoculars toward Egypt. Victory at the Suez Canal was within reach, but his tanks were completely out of fuel. It is 1942, and the flames of World War II are burning at their absolute peak. Nazi Germany's armored war machine is tearing across Europe, leaving destruction in its wake. But in the scorching sands of North Africa, a very different military epic was unfolding. There ruled General Erwin Rommel, a commander revered as an invincible legend. His trademark was striking fast, smashing British forces with swift armored maneuvers across the dunes.
Even British leaders acknowledged the effectiveness of Rommel's tactics during the North African campaign.
But how did this brilliant strategist commit a single, catastrophic blunder that ruined everything? A blunder that not only destroyed his Afrika Korps, but accelerated Germany's total defeat? In early 1941, Italian forces suffered humiliating defeats against the British in North Africa. Desperate, Germany dispatched one of its most daring commanders, along with a small expeditionary force, to North Africa. Strict orders from Berlin commanded him only to defend Italian lines, not to launch offensives. But the German field marshal was an aggressive, relentless commander who refused to sit idle on defense. Ignoring orders, he launched a sudden, aggressive assault with his armored vehicles. Using blinding desert sandstorms as cover, his tanks struck at breathtaking speed. Caught completely off guard, the British forces retreated in chaos and confusion. Seasoned British generals were utterly baffled by Rommel's lightning-fast and unpredictable tactics, and thus, a legendary nightmare was born across the sands: the Desert Fox. Rommel firmly believed that relentless speed was the key to ultimate military victory. But in desert warfare, supply lines and logistics matter far more than sheer speed. A fundamental rule of warfare that Rommel would foolishly overlook in his quest for glory. By June 1942, the bloody battle for the strategic port city of Tobruk began. Through masterclass armored tactics, Rommel broke through the formidable British fortress defenses. Over 33,000 battle-hardened British soldiers were forced to surrender. Massive stashes of captured food, fuel, and heavy artillery fell straight into German hands.
News of this astounding triumph triggered wild celebrations across high command in Berlin.
Hitler immediately promoted Rommel to Field Marshal, the highest rank in the German military. At just 51 years old, Rommel became intoxicated with the ecstasy of victory. But this stunning triumph planted the seeds of a dangerous, blind overconfidence within him. According to Axis strategic planning, victory at Tobruk meant it was time to halt. The primary objective was now to capture the small, crucial island of Malta in the Mediterranean. From Malta, British air and naval forces were constantly sinking German supply ships. Securing the Mediterranean sea lanes was absolutely vital before any push into Egypt. Flushed with pride, Rommel ignored sound military strategy and made a fatal gamble. Rommel sent an urgent message to Hitler, demanding the cancellation of the Malta invasion. He argued that British forces were shattered and must not be given time to regroup. Pushing rapidly into Egypt right now would capture the Suez Canal and crush Britain. Preoccupied with the massive invasion of Russia, Hitler blindly agreed to Rommel's risky gamble. Operation Hercules, the invasion of Malta, was officially cancelled and shelved indefinitely. This proved to be the single most catastrophic blunder in Rommel's entire career. Rommel rushed his armored columns deeper across the Egyptian border into enemy territory. Unprotected behind him remained Malta, a deadly fortress waiting to sever his lifeline. As Rommel advanced further east into Egypt, his supply lines stretched to their limit. His frontline armor was now over 1,000 miles away from main supply ports. Sensing vulnerability, British forces stationed in Malta launched a ruthless naval campaign. British submarines and bombers relentlessly ambushed Axis oil tankers crossing from Italy. Over 70% of Rommel's vital fuel and ammunition was sent to the bottom of the ocean. By August 1942, the unstoppable Afrika Korps ground to a complete halt at El Alamein. Hundreds of German tanks were left stranded in the sand without a single drop of fuel. Deprived of food, clean drinking water, and ammunition, the troops faced utter misery. Dysentery and heat exhaustion swept through the ranks, leaving hundreds dead or incapacitated. Even Rommel himself fell gravely ill from severe stomach infections and physical exhaustion. The once feared armored army was reduced to a stationary graveyard of useless steel. British General Bernard Montgomery was patiently waiting for this exact moment of weakness. Montgomery was reinforced with fresh American Sherman tanks and endless supplies of fuel. The Royal Air Force established absolute, unchallenged dominance over the desert skies. On the night of October 23, 1942, the Second Battle of El Alamein erupted. Over 1,000 British artillery guns unleashed a terrifying barrage upon the German lines. Rushing back from sick leave in Berlin, Rommel arrived to a landscape of complete horror. Surveying the destruction, he instantly realized the battle and the campaign were lost. He radioed Berlin, pleading for permission to retreat and save his remaining men. But Hitler's cold response arrived. No retreat. Stand fast, victory, or death. Rommel knew this was not a tactical command, but a death sentence for his army. For the first time in his life, Rommel disobeyed Hitler and ordered a full retreat. But it was far too late. British armor swarmed and cut down the fleeing columns. The legendary Afrika Korps was utterly crushed and erased in the sands of El Alamein. In May 1943, Axis power in North Africa suffered total and humiliating collapse. Over 250,000 German and Italian soldiers surrendered unconditionally. Had Rommel simply waited a few weeks to secure the island of Malta first, Nazi Germany might have captured the Suez Canal and seized Middle Eastern oil fields. Stopping Hitler in Europe would have become an almost impossible task for Allied forces, but a commander's reckless arrogance and disregard for logistics sealed his own doom. From the verge of total victory, Germany was thrown headfirst into unstoppable ruin. The defeat in North Africa marked the beginning of the end for the Third Reich. History teaches us that blind speed and hubris can never replace sound military strategy. Even the greatest military geniuses can be destroyed by a single fatal oversight. Do you think the outcome of World War II would have changed if Malta was taken? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments section down below. To subscribe and hit the bell icon for more epic historical reconstructions. History is not just the past. It is the ultimate lesson for human survival. The tragic blunders of legendary commanders still echo through time today, showing us how close victory and total catastrophe truly lie beside each other. The scorching sands of North Africa still hold the memory of fallen empires. Without this single mistake, the map of our modern world might look very different. Behind every great victory lies strategy. Behind every collapse lies a fatal flaw. The story of war is a timeless saga of human ambition, power, and human error. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive through history. Stay tuned as we explore another thrilling moment from the pages of time. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the forgotten truths of history. See you in the next episode as we uncover the worlds of tomorrow and yesterday.